Do you remember Nikolai Krementsov, who worked on the the Genetics Congress of 1939, the Edinburgh Genetics Congress?
What was his name?
Krementsov.
No,
a Russian. He's a Russian historian of genetics.
There were Russians here then, but there were very few. And I remember very well because the president of that conference was supposed to be Admiral Vavilov.
Yes.
And he wasn't. He wasn't allowed to come, and Stalin wouldn't have let him out, you know. He was kept a prisoner in Russia, and afterwards he was murdered. He died in Russia.
He died, didn't he?
He died in some prison in central Russia. Yes, it was rather a terrible experience for us all. But we used to think very highly of this man, Vavilov. He was very famous and very good scientist, actually. Have you heard of him?
Yes, of course.
You have?
I mean, outstanding plant geneticist.
Oh, yes, he was. Certainly. I mean, not nowadays, but I think for those times he was quite advanced. Yes, that's fine.
Had you met Vavilov?
No, I never saw him. I never met him at all. No.
Did you have any Russians in your department in Edinburgh?
I know, I'm just trying to think. Not then, I think I did later, after the war. After the war, it's not much better, you know. But before the war, I never had any Russians. No contact at all.
Oh, right.
No.
But you'd read their work? You'd read their work?
Well, a little bit, not very much. A little bit. For example, the work of Beale I knew about a bit, but other Russians, not much. There was a man called Muller. Have you heard of him?
Yes, Hermann Muller.
Yes. We used to call him, I forget his name, Kierkegaard Jack or something like that. And he was very nice, and he was a Russia before the war. He left. He got fed up with it and cleared out. And he didn't like, he didn't like the communists and so on, but he was a bit of a communist himself at first. Anyhow, he told us all about Vavilov when he came back. He came to Edinburgh, actually. He worked in Great Britain for quite a while. And I knew him then. And then I also knew him in America, because he went to Burton in Indiana, and that's where I went to too. And Muller had a job there first, and he was one of the people who was working there. And I knew him quite. I went to his lectures in Burton.
Who was behind the Geneticist Manifesto? The Geneticist Manifesto at the Congress of Genetics of 39. There was a Geneticist Manifesto, wasn't there, against the misuse of genetics?
I don't know. There was really. There was a strong feeling about it. I knew we were all rather hostile to the Russians at that time, and suspicious about what they were doing, because they were really ruining this man, Vavilov, and in fact he was arrested and put in prison, and he wasn't able to work at all, and so that's what they did.
How did you end up in Russia in the war?
Oh, that was something quite different. You see, I learned Russian before the war. I learned a little bit of Russian because I knew a man called Timofeev. Have you heard of that? Timofeev, his grandfather was a famous jeweler.
Yes.
And this was the son, the grandson. And I knew him. He was a kind of steward in London. He was, first of all, in Russia, and then he went to France, and then he came to England, and I knew him when he was in England, and I knew him quite well, and he taught me Russian, at least a little bit of Russian, and because he knew Russian very well, and French too, but still, yes, that's how I learned Russian.
Yeah. But how did you end up serving in Russia?
Well, that was the war. When the war came along, well, first of all, we were on the opposite side to the Russians. And then suddenly Hitler attacked Russia. At least Stalin agreed that he should, I don't know, some kind of business. And anyhow, they got together and then there was a war between Stalin and Hitler. And we were on the side of Stalin then. And we sent some troops to Russia, not many, a few, and I was one of those who went. I didn't know much Russian, I knew just a little bit of Russian, and they wanted somebody who could speak a tiny bit, and that was all I could do, first of all. I quickly learned more when I was there, of course. So that's how I came to go to Russia, due to the fact that we had a kind of alliance with Churchill. You know, he was quite keen on fighting on the same side as anyone who was against Hitler. He was on their side, and he was quite keen on collaborating with the Russians. And so he sent some British army, well, very few actually, to Russia, and I was one of those who was sent.
Where were you based?
Where did I go? Well, I went to Archangel first. I never went to Murmansk after that. But the main base was at Archangel because that's where the ships went to. You know, we had the ships, the convoys going to North Russia and also somewhat to South Russia. But we were only involved in the ones going to North Russia. We had nothing to do with the ships at all. That was the Navy. But somehow or other, in the war, you know, all kinds of mix-ups, all kinds of peculiar relations developed, and somehow or other, they decided to send some army people to Russia, and I was one of those who went.
So you were army, but you were on an...
I was in the army, yes. But I never did any fighting for anything of that sort. I was just... Well, I was a kind of, all we did was arrange railway journeys from Murmansk to Moscow, that sort of thing. Getting permits to the police and all that sort of bureaucracy, you know, the Russians were very keen on in those days. But we had nothing to do with the military side of things at all. At least not we, others did, but we didn't.
Were there RAF flights coming in as well?
There was an RAF was there first of all, and then there was some there still when we went there, but they gradually drifted away somehow or other.
Were there any Royal Canadian Air Force coming in? Any Canadians coming there?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I don't think there are any. The only English and or British and that's all really. And I think there were a few Americans eventually when the Americans joined in the war, you know, a few Americans came out, but it was mostly a British thing.
Was there any research done on the base?
You mean on genetics?
On genetics or on cold? No, nothing at all. It was just transport.
No, I don't think so. We certainly did nothing.
You didn't have any time?
There was nothing like that going on there.
Yeah.
No, the Russians didn't do anything either. You know, so it was very backward.
Yeah.
It was very interesting all the same.
Was it very hard being there?
Very what?
Was it very hard, the conditions?
Hard?
Yes.
Well, no, it's not bad at all. We did quite well, actually. We had better food than most people did, and on the whole, it wasn't a bad place to be. I think compared to many other places at that time, it wasn't bad at all.
Enough food?
Oh, there was enough food, but not very good food. No. It was, army food, that sort of thing, Yes. But it was very, very peculiar, We didn't know why we were there. There was no obvious reason why we should be there. The Russians didn't want us there anyhow. You see.
How did you get there?
Oh, by boat.
By boat?
Yes, we went in a convoy. There was a small convoy that went out from Scotland. Actually, it went from Glasgow to, first of all to Archangel, and then finally to, it went to Archangel and stayed there. Yeah. Yes, and there were, of course there were a lot of convoys. When later on in the war, tremendous lot of ships were going to Russia from Britain and America, carrying armaments and things like that. Yes, there was a huge convoy business sending war materials to Russia during the war. I think the Russians they needed the stuff very badly. They needed all kinds of tanks and all kinds of equipment.
So was there a base called Yakusk?
What's that?
Yeah, you said Archangel and Murmansk.
Yes.
Is there another base called something like Yakusk?
Yakusk? No. Yeah. There is a place called Yakusk. That's far, far away near Japan, you know.
Japan? That was a Canadian base in Russia on the other side.
Yes, I think that's on the Canadian side.
Yeah, I think they're the Canadians may have done something.
There was probably some communication between Canada and Yakusk in those days, but we had nothing to do with that.
The other way.
We were only connected with Murmansk and Archangel. Yes.
Incredibly interesting. And how did you stay to the end of the war, or could you get back earlier?
Well, we came back in the middle of the war. Actually, we came back on destroyers about I forget now, 1941 or something like that. In the middle of the war.
In the middle of the war.
Yeah. It was quite dangerous actually, but we had a convoy and we zigzagged home and hoped that the Germans would catch us, and they didn't, fortunately. But it was not very nice, and it was very uncertain that we would ever get back. Yes.
Of course, there were a lot of losses, but incredibly brave.
Well,
it's very brave. Everybody, particularly the Navy doing the convoys. Very brave.
The crew who directed the convoy were brave. We were just passengers. We weren't brave at all. We just had to sit in the boat and go there, or come back.
Yeah.
But a lot of people were killed. Of course, in the convoys they were attacked by the Germans. And it was very dangerous. Awful, in fact. Horrible. Murmansk was almost completely destroyed then when I was there.
Really?
Yes, it was burnt to the ground. All wooden houses, and they were all burnt. Almost, more than half the town was destroyed by fire. I remember huge fires were lit then by the bombs of the Germans. It was awful. Terrible, in fact. It was a horrible experience. But that was in Murmansk, not in Archangel. Archangel didn't get so badly knocked about as Murmansk.
Okay. And then, after the war, did you have any contact with the Russians then, or
very little. No, almost none. There was a period when there were almost no relations with the Russians at all. That's right. But we would like to have had some contacts, because in theory we were on the same side as the Russians were, both against the Germans, you see. But the Russians wanted to keep on their own. Stalin wanted to fight his own war. He didn't want to have anybody. Well, he was glad to have the equipment, that sort of thing, all the American equipment he got from America, that sort of thing. But they didn't want to have much actual collaboration of a genuine type, you know, fighting on the same side, although they were both against the Germans. It was ridiculous, of course, that they thought like that. But they were terrified, I think, that the Americans were going to take over the whole thing and exterminate the Russians as well, which they probably would have done if they could have done, but they didn't. You see, because after the war there was a tremendous division between America and Russia. Yes, that was a very bad time.
Okay. Although I suppose a lot of effort then went into radiation genetics.
What you say?
As a result of the atom bomb, people became very interested in radiation genetics.
Oh yes, that's right. Well, the Russians wanted to have an atomic bomb themselves. The Americans were the first people to have one, you see, and the Russians had a lot of spies everywhere, and they tried to find out how they got these bombs, how they made them, all that sort of thing. And they tried to make them in Russia too, but not very successfully. But the Americans were very frightened that the Russians would get hold of the whole scheme and learn how to do everything and bomb America, but they never did.
Because Charlotte Auerbach did radiation genetics, didn't she?
Yes. Yes, she worked in Edinburgh. I used to know her very well indeed. She was a colleague of mine in Edinburgh. She was, well, during the war she didn't do anything very much, but after the war she did.
Do you think there was more support for radiation genetics because of the atom bomb?
I don't know.
You don't know? Yeah. Okay.
I think, no, I don't think there was. No. Because we realized that the atomic bomb was an extremely dangerous thing to have. Whoever had it was extremely dangerous person. So we were not in favor of this at all. There was a lot of propaganda against atomic warfare, even on this side, you know, before the war, before you know, the major sort of conflict got going between Russia and America. Yes.
It's incredibly interesting. The person whom I'm working on is called John Thomson, but he did aviation physiology, and I think he did go to Russia, but I can't. No, he was an Edinburgh graduate.
Was he?
He was actually. He graduated in 36, I think. 36. He graduated 36.
I don't knew him at all. What was he working
medicine.
What was he working in?
He graduated in medicine.
In medicine?
In medicine. And then he worked at the Jordan Burn and the Royal Edinburgh Hospital, around the corner, in fact.
Oh, yes.
Not far away. He worked there for a year. And then
No, I never knew him.
No. Oh, that's very interesting. Thank you so much, Professor Beale. Thank you.
Well, I don't think anything I say is of any interest at all, really.
Well,
I just want everybody knew who was involved in that sort of business during the war. It was a very difficult time because we were really on the same side as the Russians. In fact, they won the war for us. You know, they beat the Germans. It's more than we did, but they beat the Germans and drove them back out of Russia. And,
well, thanks to all the supplies that came through in part, wasn't it?
Yes,
they were important.
But they would have done it anyhow. I think it was just even well, I think even in the earlier part of the war, they didn't have very much in the way of supplies from America. The Germans didn't get very far. At least they got quite a long way into Russia, but they didn't conquer the whole country. They never conquered Moscow or anything like that, you see. So the Germans never won. They never could win the war, I don't think, fortunately.
I think you're right, but obviously supplies come through.
Well, we were very frightened. We thought they might. They might win. And they very nearly did. If they'd had the atomic bomb, they would have won the war. There's no doubt about that. Fortunately, it never did.
It's true as well.
It had it. Fortunately. We were lucky, I think, first.
No, it's very, very interesting. Thank you very much. Well, Beale, it's kind of you to talk to me, so thank you.
Well, I don't know that anything I said is of interest.
50s, anyway, not like the 50s.
Well, we had nominal contact with the Russians always, even during the very worst time when we were extremely suspicious, and they were suspicious of us. We always had a delegation in Moscow. I mean, we were always in contact with them. And I was part of that. Although we were very suspicious about the Russians, they were suspicious about us, you see. So, I mean, although we had contact, we certainly were not very close friends or anything of that sort.
But when we used to go, we used to go for
What's that?
sabbaticals to Moscow and Petersburg.
Yes, I went quite often to Russia after the war. I stayed there for quite a long time. I can't remember now all the details, but we had quite a long contact with them. We even met Russian scientists and people, and we had very good relations with some of them.
Did you ever come across Timofeev-Resovskij?
I know. Yes, I did, actually, but only very briefly. He came to London. We had a genetics congress in London in 1939, I think it was.
Before the war, right.
Before the war, and he came to that, and I saw him then, but I had very little to do with him myself.
Remarkable.
But he was a very famous man, and of course he was killed by the Russians. I'm not sure exactly how he died. I can't remember now. But anyhow, I think he was arrested or something, but I can't remember.
Timofeev spent the war in Berlin,
yes, well,
and then the Russians picked him up
he
after
was
the
on
war.
the German side.
Yeah.
He joined the Germans. He was very in some ways, because he joined up with the Germans. He didn't actually fight with the Germans, but he somehow was very, very friendly with the Germans, with the National Socialists and people like who were on that side, you know.
It's a difficult story because Timofeev's son was executed by the Germans for resistance activities. Yes, for sabotage.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know.
Yes, and they put pressure on Timofeev.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
It's extraordinary.
I know he was subjected to a great deal of pressure and had a very difficult time. He was in prison for a long time, several years, like Vavilov. But I don't know. I don't know much about him. And I saw that once in London when he came to the Genetics Congress in 1938 or something like that. Well, before the war, certainly.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I work more on the Germans, on people like Verschuur and Nachtheim.
What's that?
I work more on people like Verschuur, Nachtheim, but they're more the human, they're more clinical genetics.
In Germany?
Yes, that's more my area.
Oh, yes. Yes, well, of course the Germans were hopeless when it came to genetics. Hitler was very mixed up about what he thought genetics. They didn't really encourage it at all.
Well, that's why you had that Geneticists manifesto.